Hey everybody, I'm Jim Classic, and you are watching Geekin' It, and for today's video, I would like to talk about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Krang Battle Damaged Android Deluxe Edition by The Loyal Subjects. This is a figure I got on May 6th on Free Comic Book Day at my local comic book store, and it was just one of those things that, I saw it, and I just couldn't resist it. Now, some of you out there might be asking yourself, well, what do you mean by battle damaged? Well, see, this version of Krang is meant to represent the arcade version, or maybe the NES version of the game. Well, back in the old arcade version of the game and the old NES Ninja Turtles games, whenever you were fighting a boss, they would start to blink red. And the more they would blink red would mean that they're taking more damage and they are about to die. This version of Krang is a slightly different color, and it's made to indicate his soon demise. So let's take this guy out of the package and let's see what he's all about. All right, I lied. Before opening this figure up, let's take a look at the packaging. First off, we see the toy with all accessories in an open window. We see a very pixelated version of Krang right there in the process of getting hit. Why he's smiling, I have no idea, but, whatever. We see down here at the bottom, Nickelodeon, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Krang, Arcade Damaged Android, XL, exclamation point, The Loyal Subjects, Best Action. Apparently that's what that stands for. I guess it makes sense, but it's kind of stupid. On the side, we have another picture of Krang, very pixelated. And this time he's definitely in pain, because now Krang is no longer smiling, and neither is the android body. On the back, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, product shot, accessories, a short bio, and 31 points of articulation. And apparently, according to the box, incredible sculpt detail. Well, I'll be the judge of that. On the top, nothing. On the bottom, nothing. Whoop. There we go. And there we go. You didn't see anything. Anyway, now let's open this figure up and see what he is all about. After taking Krang out of the package, there's also an insert. And this is a background, it looks like from the Super Nintendo game, Turtles in Time, where you're at the Technodrome portal area and the wavy static is going on in the portal screen. So that's kind of cool. That's going to make a nice little backdrop, I think. Well, we're probably going to save that. But let's focus on Krang and all of his nifty accessories. Starting with Krang, the actual brains behind the android, pun intended. Basically, we have this really gross-looking tentacle monster with beady eyes and sharp teeth, and I think there's a tongue in there. And I have to say, the sculpting is actually really cool. I mean, it's got all the noodly gray matter bits, and that is definitely a 100-yard stare right there. Like that. Krang, he's looking right at you. Krang is looking right at you, and he probably wants to kill you or eat you. Well, I guess eating you would kill you, but you know what I mean. And he's got these really wormy appendages. He only has the two, and that's it. The sculpting is really nice. It actually feels really weird. Feels really weird in my hands. It's solid plastic, and the only articulation Krang has is he's got universal joints. Whoops, all right, universal joints, like right there, and universal joints. All right. Oh, and it came off. All right, well, I mean, I knew it came off. I just wasn't expecting it to go flying off, and, I wasn't expecting that. But anyway, so here we have Krang, and if you turn him upside down, there's a little indentation there. That's for the android body, but even the indentation is all gray mattery and noodly and kind of gross. And this is not Krang's normal color. Krang's normal color is a light pink. But again, this is the video game version of him taking damage. So this is in damage Krang. But look at that! Look at that! Look at those freaking teeth. This is nice. This is some nice attention to detail. Like, it's not even like it's definitely part of the sculpt, but it's not like they're individual teeth. So that's really cool. It's not just like it's painted, or it's not like it's part of the tongue. Come on, focus, stupid. It's individual teeth just sticking out. I love that. That's awesome attention to detail right there. Now, really, the big star of the show is we also have the android body, sans Krang. Let's get this guy to stand up, shall we? Okay, good. He is standing up. That's a good thing. Let me just move up a little bit without stepping on my own foot. He's a little bow-legged. Let's try and fix that. But anyway, here we have the android body. And it's actually a pretty weighty toy. I dig it. It's got some heft to it. Doesn't seem like it's made out of cheap plastic or anything. Now, one thing which I'm noticing, not a huge fan of, Krang goes into the belly of the android. We're gonna do that first. We're gonna do that first before I do anything else, because it's part of the package. But what I don't like is that Krang sits in the belly, and what you see in there. Come on, focus. I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure out how this thing autofocuses, because it's not doing it on its own. If you notice, Krang's little tentacles are right there at focus, you dummy. Krang's tentacles are already there in the cockpit. So what we're going to do is, as Krang has already been kind enough to demonstrate, the tentacles come off. So we're going to just take that one off. We're going to take that one off, and Krang has no tentacles. So what the android body here does is there's a hinge at the base of the spine, and it just folds in half, just like that. So there's a little disc, little uprising. Not an uprising. It's like a little riser. I don't know what it's called. But we just put Krang. It loosely pegs. It doesn't really peg in very hard, but just loosely sits in there. And then we close it up. And then we have Krang fully integrated into his android body. And wow, what an android body that is. What a look. What a fascinating look that figure is. Okay, hold on. Can we just pause for a minute, just for a second, and just like take a look at Krang here and just drink this guy in, okay? All right. Krang's android body has always just been a little bit weird to me. I mean, even as a kid, it kind of affected my suspension of disbelief a little bit. Like Krang himself in the belly, I can understand. He's an alien from another dimension. He's either a brain or an alien brain or whatever. Like, he's not from this Earth. He can look like whatever. Maybe maybe there's other creatures like Krang. I mean, in the later cartoon series, like the 2012 series, there's a whole race of them, and like the Utrons and stuff. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about just Krang, this guy. Anyway, like that, the alien concept I get. The android body? I mean, like at least in the cartoon show, Shredder builds this for Krang. Krang needs a new body. He wants a new body. He's been ripped from the old one. He lost it. It was taken from him, whatever. Shredder builds this for him. He builds like this 10-foot tall, like hairless Andre the Giant with a double chin and red briefs and lederhosen and like cyberpunk glasses. Like, what is this? All right, so now that I got that out of the way, let's talk about this figure. I've already spoken about Krang and his sculpt, and I really do like the Krang figure inside. Let's talk about the android body. All right. So yeah, well, it definitely looks weird. It's mostly in this yellow plastic, this off yellow plastic. It's got some nice little lines, details. It's got the elbow pads, got some orange bits. I mean, it's painted, but some lines, some stuff that makes it look like it's definitely not human. We got these weird chest ridges right here, and they're painted in red. And I guess that's well, I'm not really sure what that's supposed to represent, but they're you know, they've always been part of Krang. Got the pecs, got the belly right there, not too shabby. Got basically what looks like a back brace. But obviously that's where the cockpit is, that's where Krang sits, but it does also looks like a back brace attached to the lederhosen and the shoulder pads. And I like this spine detail. That's really cool. The spine leads to these vents. Like, it definitely looks like it definitely looks like it's an android or maybe even a cyborg or something. It's got like these other vents. Come on. It's got these other vents right here on both sides. A nice little panel detailing. It's got details. It's got some good details. I like the handle. No idea what the handle's for. I don't think Shredder ever rode on Krang's back. I don't know. Maybe he did a couple times. But like even the head sculpt, like as weird as I think the double chin head sculpt is, it looks cool. I mean, it looks like it looks like the android body is like pondering in deep sinister thought. And even the cyberpunk glasses, you know, it's sculpted nicely. It's got like the little strap, the sculpted strap right there. And even the lenses, I don't know if you can hear that. Even the lenses are sculpted. And it's got his little tiny antenna. I don't want to mess with it too much. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be... Hold on, there we go. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be standing up all the way or not. I don't want to mess with it because it is thin plastic. It's part of the mold. And I don't want to risk breaking it. So I'm not going to risk breaking it. Anyway, moving down, of course, we have the red briefs. We have some muscly looking legs. Again, more robot lines, more little robot details, but minimal. It's mostly just muscle legs. Knee pads, calves. Oh, I'm sorry. Calves. And then he's got his little booties. His little booties. But even the boots have have some tread detail, have some oh, come on, just focus, you dummy. So even the boots have some nice detailing. Not so much detailing on the hands. The hands look just like gloves. Come on. The hands just look like gloves. But, I mean, whatever. Maybe it's like a more liquid metal type hand or something, or maybe they are like some kind of a synthetic skin. That's what I'm looking for, synthetic skin. I don't know why the camera's, maybe it's just too close. There we go. Maybe it's like some kind of synthetic skin on the hands, but I got some detail there around the bracelets. And that's it. I mean, that's it for the design. It's minimal, but it looks good. I dig it, It looks pretty awesome. Now, for articulation, I've already talked about Krang's, which is just the little noodly appendages. They're on the universal joints, and he's in there, so he's, once he's in there, he's Krang's articulation, he's out. He's pretty much just a static object. So for the head, we got ball joint at the head. It can look left, it can look right. Hold on. It can look right, it can look left. I don't really want to push the tolerances, but okay, we're pushing tolerance. I can completely rotate his head, but it's really tight around the shoulder areas. So I don't recommend that too often. Can kind of wobble his head a little bit. Can only look up that high. Can only look down that low. Anyway, we have some universal joints there at the arms. They're not ball joints, but they're just those universal hinges. And it's got like a soft ratchet kind of a thing. Can you hear it? Soft ratchet. We got bicep swivel, but it's not really... All right, well, yes and no on the bicep swivel. It doesn't really swivel too well because of the shoulder. It does swivel, but it's very limited due to the sculpting of this is the deltoid, I think, right? Bicep and deltoid. So yeah, the deltoid piece is limiting the bicep swivel. We have what looks like a double elbow joint, which is awesome, but then that elbow pad just doesn't... That just looks like that's going to break. That does not look like that is... Like, if I drop this thing at this angle, it's probably going to break. But anyway, we have double double elbow. We also have full wrist swivel plus a hinge. A hinge at the wrist. So not too bad. Same thing for the left arm. Also, much to my surprise, Krang does have a waist swivel. It's very limited. Again, I don't want to push the tolerances too hard, but it looks like you could probably do a 360, but I'm not going to risk it. But a surprisingly decent waist swivel, and we're moving to the hips, and this is where the hips. This is where it kind of fails. That's as good of a spread as we get. Let's see. Can kick. Hold on. There we go. Can kick that far forward. Not much. Can go back that far. Not much. So we don't have a major range of motion. We do have a thigh swivel. We do have what looks like a it's a double knee bend, but even the double knee bend does not go very far. There is a hinge there. There's a hinge there. But it's not as good as the elbow. And we have... Oh, wow. There's actually a universal joint at the ankle. But again, with the molding of the cuff of the shoe, I don't really trust it. But it does rotate. And if you really want to push the envelope, it looks like it could tilt forward and backwards. But again, I'm not going to risk it. And this knee feels a little bit loose, so I'm not really going to mess with this figure too much to loosen the joints. It does have a decent range of motion above the waist, but below the waist could be a little bit better. Krang's android body has multiple accessories. He's got open, relaxed hands. He's got closed fists. He's got double laser guns. He's got battle axe. He's got drill. And he's got a katana. In order to remove the hands, they're on these semi-tight mushroom pegs. Now, they are tight, so you should be very careful when removing and putting them back on, because some of these things, especially the sword, are very thin plastic. So you need to be careful putting them on and off, because, you don't want to accidentally snap the plastic off. So I'm a little bit worried about the katana. And I'm a little bit concerned about the guns, too, because they do go on well enough, but I just feel like the plastic is just thin enough that I could break it one day. Anyway, just wanted to let you know. Here's original TMNT Android Body Krang. He's a little lopsided. He doesn't stand as well as he used to, but, this is what the original toy looked like. It was big and bulky and way meaner. Here is Super 7 Baxter Stockman, Super 7 Metalhead, Super 7 April O'Neil, Channel 6 News, The Loyal Subjects Raphael, and last but definitely not least, the Hasbro Green Ranger Shredder. I have to say, my final thoughts is I really do like the figure of the battle-damaged android Krang, or whatever it's called. I like the color. It's definitely different. It's slightly different from the original Krang figure. The plastic is sturdy. The sculpting is really nice. Krang himself, the actual alien, is really nicely detailed. The android is fun. I suppose my only real issues is... the android itself is a bit top-heavy because all of the plastic is in the upper body. A lot of the heavier plastic is in the upper body. And because of the robot's size, or at least his proportions, because of his proportions, his posing is limited. You couldn't even simulate the pose that's on the box. How he has his hands up and he's writhing in pain or whatever. You couldn't really do that very easily without the toy either falling over or the proportions just being that limited that you can't pull it off. So Krang stands there rather well. Posing and for battle stuff, no, I'm going to have to say he's not the best. He's only okay if you want to do any battle poses. But you know what? He's going to look good standing there on my shelf with my other with my other larger TMNT figures, and I'm okay with that for now. You know, this version of Krang is kind of an anomaly since he's not in his accurate colors. It's a good figure. I'm glad I picked it up. You know, it could be a little bit better, of course. Like I said, the posability and the top heaviness, but it's still fun. I still like it, and I think this figure will survive the next 10, 20 years just fine without too much problems. I hope. Anyway, that's enough out of me. I'm Jim Classic. You have been watching Geekin' It, and I will see you next time. Good night, everybody.